Greetings, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. I hope this video finds you in good health and in peace. Now, please bear with me because what I'm going to share with you today is information that I don't want to write down because I'm going to be using high statements. And as I've told you before, whatever you conceive in your mind and you write down and you walk toward it will be your reality. And so some of the things that I'm saying, they're going to activate something in the atmosphere, but they will not come to pass because I am not going to confirm them. Okay? Now we're going to talk about how in this time it is very important that we get to the place where we as creative subjects, for lack of a better word, and I'll be using words that I usually don't use, but for argument's sake, and I don't want to be playing semantics in this video, okay? So, for us to be creative beings, there are certain things that we have to happen in order for us to activate it in the universe for it to become your reality, okay? I have gotten your emails, many emails from individuals who, reach out to share what they're going through. And while I'm here for it, and I'm listening to some of your stories and I'm responding as much as I can, I'm also going to tell you that regardless of what's happening in your life, you have the power to change that, to transform that to the reality that you need, regardless of what it is. Because as long as you still have breath, you still have life, and therefore you can create. Now, there are times when you're going through some really terrible things in life. For example, you've struggled all the time. As long as you've known yourself, you've struggled with poverty or, hardship. And it's something that you have to talk about, but you have to change the language. So, for example, you're saying, I am broke. I am desperate. I am lonely. I am poor. I cancel all these things in the universe. They're used just for example. Now, as long as you're using that language, you're creating more of that situation in your life. Okay? So you have to change your language. When I read some of the emails, the things that you're saying, I understand where you're coming from, but you don't realize that for as long as you stay in that state of mind and you confirm that in the universe, that will be your reality. Before I go any further, I'm going to say to anybody, anyone listening, that as long as you are okay with your situation and you consider that to be some kind of test from the creator, that will determine if you're good, because a lot of us as people in the world, especially our kind, tend to see that poverty and hunger and starvation are things so wear on our chest like a badge and to be proud of it. And the moment you see somebody else coming out of terrible situations where they themselves have, this ban or bar from their life, things like poverty, you know, things like, anger, resentment, they have worked hard to get rid of those things. And because you're not able to get rid of those things out of your own life, you start to point fingers on these ones. So a good example of that is our African people in the world who are doing well financially. We often band together to say that these ones are involved in Illuminati, as if other people are able to get wealth and it's justifiable or good wealth, but when we get it, we will have to do something bad for it. We're not thinking about other people's history of robbing and pillaging and doing all kinds of horrible things to gain their wealth. And we celebrate these ones when they're wealthy. Even if you say that they're involved in, the underworld, you're not saying it with the amount of hatred and malice you do towards your own. And so I'm telling you right here that I'm very happy for the experiences I've had, with all kinds of unfortunate events that happened in the past that creates the person who I am now. But I don't celebrate poverty. And I don't want anyone to tell me that I am supposed to be happy to be this way. There's no blessing, there's no goodness, there's nothing wonderful about being poor. In fact, everything that we're going through in the world right now is people who are very wealthy, who are using their power and to wield their power to do all kinds of things. And those of us, are those of you, because I'm no longer referring to myself as poor, those of you who consider yourself to be poor fall under the weight of that. As long as you understand that you're a human being and we're all born with, you know, the same access to all these things, even though people will put things, yes, there's stumbling blocks that people put in your way so you can trip over and you can't accomplish or achieve certain things. But if you understand that as long as they're breathing like you, they're mortal like you, and they're able to do what they do, you too can use the power that is given to you at birth to create the reality that you want to see in your life. And the language we're using, it is one of the big deterrents for us. So you change that language. And how are you going to change your language? You know, because you don't see money in the bank account doesn't mean that you're broke. That's a state of mind. Because you wake up in the morning and you can barely move, it doesn't mean that it's over for you. Anything can change. You could change your diet. You could, move. Because sometimes you live in a house and that place has so much bad energy, so much negative vibration. You don't know who lived in that house before you did. All you know is that when you moved there, nothing was working for you. And sometimes you just have to pick up and leave from that space. It doesn't matter how much you've invested your time or your energy or your money in that space. You leave. There are places that I've lived in the past. When I look back, I'm never without cash, never without money. That place is like, a blessing in that regard. And then there are other places where I have so much peace, where the finances might not be up as much, but there's so much peace. Now, after we learn how to, reject those negative thoughts that just create negative vibration in our life or bring more of that to us, then we have to also learn to understand that there are times when we're craving things, material things, and we're thinking this is going to fix the problem, and it doesn't. And we're thinking, why am I not happy? Now I have the car that I wanted. I want the house that I wanted. I want the partner that I wanted. Why am I not happy? Because you don't have peace. And no one can give that to you. That's something you're going to have to find and dig deep to find. And so, as you're navigating your way in this world and you're seeking and searching and creating, you have to understand the difference between peace, trying to find peace, your happiness coming from that peace without anything. You have to be able to find peace in the simplest thing, just walking, smelling the flowers, spending time in nature. That is one of the most happiest time for me. Now that the time is changing, I have to find another way, something else to do to create that peace, to harness that peace that I have inside of me. Okay? So our language really makes a difference. So you look at someone and you think this person, sometimes I see people, having these fantastic dreams for themselves, and the reality doesn't reflect it. And people who are listening to this, they'll come to you to tell you those are pipe dreams. But these ones believe in their dreams. They believe in their thoughts or the aspirations that they have for themselves. And your negativity, or you coming to tell them to come back down to earth, is not going to help them. It's going to destroy you, because these ones believe, I am queen, I'm king, I'm a princess, I am rich. These are good thoughts to have, because everything you ever think in your mind, you see in your reality. So you have to pull that back in. Sometimes I'm reading some of these emails and I'm like, no, like full stop, no, cancel that, no, cancel that, no, cancel. Sometimes the entire email is so negative, and I get it. because these things take training, it takes time, it takes years. I still have to catch myself. I have to cancel some of the things that I say sometimes, or when I'm feeling this heaviness, because I'm thinking a particular way, I have to catch myself and cancel that. I have to move out of that space. Sometimes you're in a room and the energy in that room is so bad that you have to cleanse that space. You have to change up your house. You have to rearrange your furniture. You might have to do that. It's not just about looking using incense and just meditation. Sometimes it's just about reorganizing that space. You hear the term feng shui. Look into that, but it's true. It is true. And so when you say there's no good man, you'll never find a good man or a good woman. Oh, I never have money. You'll never have money. I'm always sick. You're going to always be sick. When we look at people as if they are more powerful than we are, they'll always be more powerful than you are. When we give people too much credit for the fact that we are not taking enough credit for ourselves, then we constantly look at them as our heroes, our deliverers. We look at them and we give them so much power. So all of these imbeciles in the world that are, creating all kinds of havoc, it's not that they're mightier than you or more powerful, but they have learned how to use their own natural given power, albeit they choose to do wrong. They could have used that same power that they harness and learn how to pull up to do good, but it's their choice because we all are free beings. We all have the ability to choose to do what some people consider right or wrong. Our soul, and let's use that word, the part of ourselves that is given into light and to love and to peace. Many of us are tormented. And we're tormented because of what we're thinking, what we are not activating within ourselves, or what we are activating. That is the true reality. And so if someone is doing something in their own life that you don't like, don't spend too much attention looking at what they're doing that you don't like. It's not your business. Work on you. Stop telling people what God to believe in, how to live their life. We're not brought here to determine someone else's path. That is too much of a burden. It's to find your own way. And so as you share your stories with me, I'm going to say to you, it's easier to say it on this platform than to go to every person to say, watch your language. Watch what you're saying. The negatives, you have to cancel those. And stop watching other person's life and mapping your chart or charting your destiny on someone else's life. What fulfills you? What brings you joy? What brings you peace? These are the answers that you need to find for yourself. What is it that you need? Because as I said before, the universe is very ready to conspire with us to give us what we desire. We just have to understand that. And as you seek material possessions and you seek wealth and you seek health, understand that when you get all these things and you have no peace inside, all those things are just things. And if anything, when you gain these things, they're like stumbling block in your way because you still don't have peace. So what I'm saying here, the most important thing is peace. But understanding that you have the power to create that reality that you need to take you to that place where you can truly be free. It's not a bad thing. I'm saying stop judging other person's life, because when you're sleeping, many people are working. When you're suffering, you're celebrating. When they're sad, you're happy. So don't covet someone else's success. Don't covet someone else's moment, you know, in the sun. Don't envy or grudge anyone else's prosperity. You don't know how they get it. And you don't have to think negative that, oh, because you don't have it, therefore they have got to do things that is bad to, receive those things for themselves. Because many people work very hard and many people buckle down and many people suffer for years and years and years until they finally get their break. And sometimes if these struggles don't come, you don't appreciate the things that you eventually get. So, the universe understand this, and we're all here being molded. Our experiences will mold us in who we ultimately will become. We all have a path in life. And if you stay on your own course. Now, some people say stay in your own lane. I don't believe in staying in any lane. Whatever directions I get in my life, that's what I pursue. Whatever I desire, this is what I seek. I got no lane. Nobody's putting me in any lane. I go in any lane I feel like going in. But to go back to the story, that sometimes it's just as simple as changing your space around if you're not able to move. Sometimes it's as simple as making that decision, a decision that no one else will agree with. I am going to get up and I'm going to move and I'm going to go live at this place. And, everybody's saying this, you shouldn't do that. That's not for them to determine. It's for you to decide. I'm going to get out of this relationship because it's making me miserable. It's bringing out the worst in me. It's up to you. Even though everything's beautiful, it looks beautiful to everyone else. If you're not happy and you're having these private moments where you don't feel like sharing with other people, and yet they're telling you how to live your life. If you meet someone and everybody says that's not the right person for you, this person is not going to make you happy, and your spirit is telling you otherwise, you don't listen to what other people are saying, because you know what? It's not their life. It isn't. They can share their opinion with you, whether you ask them for it or not. It's up to you to determine what is best for you. Nothing is fatal unless there is no life. So your circumstance can change. Your situation can change. It will change. It must change as long as you have that attitude. I'm going to leave this here for you. If you want to hear more in this series, let me know. If this message has blessed you in one form or the other, or remind you of the importance in staying grounded, and knowing yourself, understanding that every experience we have in life is preparing us for that next beautiful moment. And even when things seems dark and dismal, it doesn't have to stay that way, because you have the ability to change it. Stay blessed, everyone.